Hi, it's Iona here, and it is week 6 of creating your own career. It's so wonderful to be with you, and I want to put something up here in the front of our week 6 gathering to remind us that there is no way in the world that what we're covering in these 7 to 8 weeks, there's no way in the world that we can accomplish it by the end of the 7 or 8 weeks. Please do not put that onto your shoulders. It will weigh you down. There's no way you'll be able to feel as if you can relax and enjoy this process if you imagine that you have to finish something by the end of this course. We put this course in between fall and winter, fall equinox and winter solstice, so that we can bracket 12 weeks, and we can put this into our calendar every year if we want to. This is a process engaging the 10 steps of the creation process. It is a process that is delineated into 10 steps, 10 stages. They equate and relate to any good journey. We don't make a change in our life unless chaos forces us to, most likely. Something has to happen to spur a change. Either we don't feel like we have enough of something, or we have too much of something, or we have outgrown something. There's a reason why we decide that something's got to give. And once something has got to give, we recognize that it's because there is a sense of chaotic overwhelm happening, and we're in some sort of a spin. So as we go through these first 5 weeks, what we're recognizing is that there are many, many ways to engage our creative energy. In this work, we call them creative prompts. It isn't necessarily going to be spelled out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the creative prompts. The idea is that as you listen to the information, and as you journal, as you talk to yourself, and as you take into account your commitment and your covenant, that you yourself personally, different from every other person that's ever lived, you yourself personally are going to begin to gain insight and inspiration regarding your direction. I always tell all of my life cycle collaborators, whenever I give them a homework assignment in our extended life cycle sessions, I will give you the assignment, but be sure you remember you don't ever have to do what I'm suggesting. You may get another idea. You may hear another response as I describe the homework. That's the creative process. We take any class, we sign up for anything, and we don't parrot the instructor. We don't follow the leader verbatim. We listen, we filter, and we respond from our own, in this case, really, really useful to remind ourselves again and again, from our own heart, the work of our heart. So it is really, really empowering. And in the 6th week, when we're stepping into the idea of symbol and form, form and symbol, we can switch things around. When we're in these 7th and 8th steps and stages, we want to remember that it's our work. We each make this our own work. I'm simply bringing it to you because it excites me and inspires me, and I've been working with it since 1989, consciously. Before that, I was certainly on my journey, just like you've been on your journey, but I did not consciously have these steps and stages to relate to. By the end of these 7 weeks, you will have these 10 steps and stages in a basic structure that you can begin to relate to. You then decide if you want to go deeper and do more research, and I'll probably have a book list at the end as a bonus so that you can really begin to pick up the threads. To support you right now, let me show you that this is Hilda Dial's book, The Lotus and the Pool, How to Create Your Own Career. This is the book that was given to me in 1989. You can order it off of Amazon. It's a very similar, it goes through the steps and stages, but she uses a format of case histories. And she gives many graphs, many charts, and the only thing that I've used verbatim other than the steps and stages from Hilda Dial's work thus far is the meditation bonus that we received 2 weeks ago. It's a wonderful book to follow, but you don't have to follow a book. If you have your covenant, you have the skeleton for your own ability to follow the 10 stages of the creation process. You can pick up any book on myths or fairy tales. You can look at Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey. You can Google the Hero's Journey. This is not something that is being made up. This is substantiated, very focused trail signs, trail markers. You can't get lost. This is not like wandering around in the woods wondering, where are we going? What are we doing? Why is this happening? This is really very well documented throughout countless cultures all around the planet, broken down and extrapolated into these 10 steps and stages. So don't feel like there's something mysterious going on here. The only mystery is, how will you unfold your journey? That's the only mystery, and that's supposed to be the mystery. That is the mystery of our lives. We pop into the third dimension, and we all have a calling. We all have a destiny. We all have the capacity to navigate by our own North Star, our own Polaris. If we're taught that somewhere along the line, then it becomes a lot more comfortable to get into that awareness that, I'm the captain of my ship, I'm the master of my fate, and such like. But if we're not taught that, if we're not shown that, then there's no banks on our river, and we can just ooze all over the place. And as beautiful as marshes are, and they're an important part of our ecological system, what we're talking about is being able to row our boat gently, lovingly, embracing the work of our heart. This is not something that anybody else on the planet can tell us about. However, we can each have a model, a role model. The role model might be alive now on the planet. The role model may not be alive now on the planet. That's why stories are so grand. Even novels can give us models for character building. So when we get to step 7 and 8, symbol and form, we're in a great position. Again, like with all of these steps and stages, we can put this on the wall, and we can take a dart, and we can put a blindfold on our eyes, and we could throw the dart at the covenant and see which one it hits, and whichever one it hits is fine, because we could work with any of them in our own turn. We don't have to follow them sequentially and consecutively. But in order to learn about them, we are following them consecutively. But I could, at any moment, on any given day, I can wake up and feel chaotic. I just might wake up from a bad dream and feel uncomfortable in my body. I might be overwhelmed and not know how to begin my day. And so with this wonderful covenant and these steps and stages, I can identify where I'm at. I might, on any given day, wake up and feel like I'm at step 7, and the symbol is to find the appropriate instrument to propel me, allowing a symbol to emerge from my imagining. And I might, on that given day, go, wait, what am I working with right now? And I might go, oh yeah, I'm working with the present is my point of power. That just might be my own little statement for the day. The present is my point of power. And that might begin to tamp down and damp down my chaos. Where would I have gotten that power phrase, that the present is the point of power for me? Well, I would have formed it. Then in step 8, we form. We take our symbol and we create a new form for our essence, which is our deeper character. So all of this sounds like so much mumbo jumbo, and all of this becomes really overwhelming if we think that we have to get someplace every week with this work. This work is about being an existential detective. We're looking for clues. We're uncovering and recovering information about who we are and who we came to be, about our heart's work. And we do that by, in this instance, for this course, by following these steps and stages. So my opening here today is to remind us that there is, it's like the hero's journey. There's no place to get to. The journey is the destination. We're on the journey. And it is the journey that opens the heart. Now, we're going through a particularly empowering point in our cultural history, in our global history right now, that gives all of us an opportunity to consider, to think again, to reconsider, to really feel into, what's the point? Why am I here? What does have meaning? And what does meaning mean anyway? What does it mean to have meaning? So this is not something that is, cut and dry. This is not something that is from A to Z necessarily. This is more like the artist's alphabet, where we take our 5 elements of design and we recognize what each of the elements represents, and we weave our current story to the very best of our ability. So I'm going to move the camera because I want to show you a piece that I did from my mandalas over time. This is not, it's not do it today, get it done today work. Not even a little bit. This is each week, watch the video, see if you can find some creative prompts within the context of the video. Today we're addressing form and symbol. What does it mean for you to feel into the form of your life? When we look at the idea of form, Hilda Dial says it's a strategy. We find our form by creating, planning, and getting in gear with a strategy. Now, that may make sense to you. I have a hard time, myself personally, I've had a very difficult time ascertaining my vision for my life. Even though in 1980, I began to write down that my life was going to be focused on making life the masterpiece, P-E-A-C-E, because at that point I had developed my style as an artist for that moment in time, and I realized that all artists want to make a masterpiece. They want to be recognized for a masterpiece. I wanted to create a masterpiece, a piece in my life. That became my motivating focus. That became everything that I formed my life around. I homesteaded. I lived off the grid. I raised chickens. I began to compost. I started big gardens. I made my own overalls. I illuminated my home with oil lamps rather than electricity. I was forming my life as a peaceful statement for myself. And as that grew from 1980, by 1981 or 82, I was giving talks to groups about making life the masterpiece. And each time I spoke, I would weave a story about how that was possible. You can find a nugget in your second step on who are you being. You can find a phrase. You can find a signal. You can find a signpost. Every day from step 2, who am I being? You can develop that as you go into step 4, the developing self. What kind of structure do I require in order to be who I'm choosing to be? Nobody can tell us these things. No one's going to knock on our door and ask us if we have formed an idea around our symbol. And that is step 7 and step 8. But we can do it by beginning to consider what form, what strategy, what would inform, what direction would I take if I was being and encountering and developing my heart's work. We might not know our heart's work. We might not have a way of describing our heart's work today. But what a beautiful, beautiful opportunity it is in the midst of where we are culturally and what's being offered to us as kind of a new start, a new direction, a new way of being is being offered to us. So if it is, and it is, where do I stand for that new beginning? What does my heart offer? What do I choose for myself? I've stayed consistent. I am interested in my life being peaceful. There's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of difficulty. There's a lot of stress. We don't escape that by making our statement of purpose, our form, by creating a strategy for letting it unfold. It doesn't get easier. But if we have a direction, if we have a statement of vision, of purpose, that generally relates to our heart's desire, our fondest dream, those are prompts. What is your heart's desire? That's a prompt. Find your heart's desire. Find your fondest dream. The only way you can find it is to begin to turn your attention toward it, even if only for 15 minutes a day. I'm giving you a bit of a lecture today because it's really powerful and important to recognize that what we're doing here is on a continuum. Wouldn't it be nice if somebody met us at our birth and began to whisper into our ear that you have a destiny? Deepak Chopra did this with his kids. I heard him give a talk at least once where he said, as soon as his children were old enough to comprehend, and he said the ages were 3 or 4 years of age, he began to talk to them as if they came here with a purpose. And he began to remind them, I and no one else can tell you what that purpose is. But you did come with a purpose, and I want you to remember what that purpose is for yourself. And he goes on to talk about how he raised his children to know how to sit quietly and how to listen. And now, all these many, many decades later for each of us, we've got layers and layers of layers of ways in which we get off track. We ooze over or lose awareness of the banks of our own individual life stream, our own river. We definitely get confused about the ability to row gently down the stream, and we think we have to row against the current, and that somebody's going to come and save us or show us the way. Well, indeed, that we have so many different kinds of maps. And that's where we begin this course, with mapping our way out of the chaos. So today, in step 7 and 8, symbol and form, I want to simply remind you that it isn't going to happen this week. I'm not even giving you specifics about. We'll talk about it on our call to some degree. And, I am learning as I go, and we all are, every single day. And I apologize right now on this video for the failures I've had on the calls with being able to navigate the new platform that the call structure has in place. I've just, every week I have some sort of a glitch. It's not a big deal. I don't beat myself up. I attempt to keep things moving smoothly, and that's all we can ever do. That's all we can ever do, is just lighten up and enjoy the journey as much as we possibly can, not put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and recognize that you're going to have a library here. And if you choose to, you can come back to any one of these weeks and access the library. Just save week 8 and you'll have all the previous weeks together, and you'll have a source for your own way, using your covenant, your commitment to your vision, and see how it continues to unfold year by year. Can you imagine where you'll be a year from now if you continue to allow yourself to connect with the 10 steps and stages of the creation process? It's going to be really exciting. So I didn't get a chance to do my show and tell. I've run out of time. I think it's important to put this video into our mix. It's different from what I thought it would be, and that's really excellent, because our creativity is spontaneous and synchronistic. It's not plotted and planned from beginning to end. That's a drudgery. We trust our spirit of creative connection, and we allow the whispers to lead us down the next step in our path. I send you much love. I look forward to hearing you on the call tomorrow. And if you're not on the call live, I'm really excited that you'll be able to pick it up as a recording. This is Iona, Wrenhouse Studio. This is week 6, creating your own career, which is creating the work of your heart, different from all the 699,999 billion other souls on the planet. There's no one else like you, and it's so great that you are here. Talk to you soon.